Welcome, fellow Minecraft enjoyers. Today we got something weird planned. I'm going to be doing 100 days in hardcore. I'm sure you've seen several videos like this, but I've never played hardcore Minecraft before. This is going to be the first time I'm getting into a hardcore playthrough in my life. So we'll see how this goes, and hopefully you guys enjoy the journey as much as I do. So my first priorities are probably just to get some tools, kind of get my bearings. I really want to find a village, because my whole plan depends on that, pretty much. And I got pretty lucky with these village spawns, because there was one right across from where I spawned, literally just right across from where I spawned. You can see it here in this shot. And it was in the spruce biome, which is even better, in my opinion at least. After I got to the village, I thought it would be a good idea to introduce myself to everybody by invading their homes, harassing their children, and pretty much just taking everything that they have. But I have a lot of plans for this place in the future, and it's okay, because I will actually be replacing none of those things. So after looking around in the village for a little while, I managed to set my spawn point, even though that doesn't really matter, because if I die, I'm gone for good in this version. I found a weaponsmith, and I got myself some vertical shoes, which was pretty nice. But the coolest part of the village was yet to be discovered. I rang the bell here because if you see the bell, you have to ring it. It's a rule, but this was the best part. Wheat.
Lizard boat. What? What is this? Why did it stop? Hold on.
So after having a little bit of fun with the villagers, I just went around stealing more of their things, and eventually set up a little home for myself in this librarian's house before eventually going to sleep. The next day started off with a bang as this zombie was trying to assault my villagers, and that's not good at all because I'm light years away from getting a potion of weakness now, and this is the last thing I need. After that, I went and chopped a bunch of trees down. I made this cool montage for you guys, and check it out. It's pretty cool, right? It's cool, right? Sorry, I don't mean to pressure you guys, but what's good for when you have a lot of pressure? Yeah, that's right, you guessed it, it's a shield. We're gonna go ahead and make a shield. This is actually my favorite item that's been added to the game in a long time. I think it's very cool. It makes me feel medieval, and anything medieval is pretty much right up my alley. So I don't know what this guy's problem is, but that's okay because we're not gonna let it get us down. I have plans to go forage today, and by forage I mean just get any kind of food humanly possible so that I can not die within the first few days of this video. So in my search for food, I went out to get some berries in the woods and got bullied by them pretty bad. And eventually I found a cave to explore because I needed some ores, but there was actually a never-ending conga line of zombies trying to attack me, which made me unable to mine this iron. It was very annoying, but we got through it, and this actually does play out well for me in the end. You'll see what I mean by that in a little bit. There's so many. Then I tried pushing deeper into the cave, but I got quickly humbled by the skeleton. I thought I could press him, but there was a gap in between us, and I heard a zombie coming up behind me. This all just pretty much spelled out a bad scenario for me, so I just kind of got out of there. Friendly fire. I slowly backed up and then cowered in this corner. I heard some unspeakable things happening over there in that room, and I did not want to go see what was actually going on. So after those two were done fighting, I got to fight the winner, and then I noticed there was a spawner in the corner. I went in and it was actually a zombie spawner, which is pretty cool. I had plans for this thing in the future. I'm not going to doctor it up too much, but I'm definitely going to use it, make sure that I can use it, and show you guys how to do that as well. Oh yeah, and on the way home I found this guy and he was kind of creeping me out, so I killed this pig to assert my dominance. So I finished marking the spawner as nighttime was approaching, and I went to head back home. I just said goodnight to the villagers in the villager boat and then went straight to sleep. The next morning I had plans to work on the spawner again, but before that, I needed food. I was going to get hungry, and I was going to get hungry fast, and if I don't eat, I die. Don't look at me like that. So now that I had everything I needed, I just went right back over to the cave where the spawner was to go ahead and begin construction. So I didn't exactly get as much done as I wanted to, partially because I was using coal as a shovel, but also partially because I was worried about other things like building a bridge here to explore a little bit more of the cave, only to get humbled once more and have to run away by the same freaking skeleton and his friends, of course. I ran away, cowered in the same corner, ate some bread, and worked up the courage to go attack that skeleton and his friends. I was going to kill him if it was the last thing I did. Unfortunately, he humbled me for a third time, and I needed to escape. I ran back home in shame and thought about my next strategy for attacking that skeleton, but also how I was going to finish the spawner. So I tried to gather up all the materials I would need just to go back to the cave and see if I could finish the spawner all in one go this time. Alright, so I finally finished the spawner. I just gotta do a few last finishing touches and then make it functional. And then we should have a functioning XP farm and rotten flesh farm if you're into that. Okay, so this is gonna be my little sitting area where I sit and watch them fall to their death. It's gonna be pretty cool sitting in here. And I can do some time lapses where the zombies are just repeatedly falling into the hole in the center. It'll be kind of fun. Hey, that's my bed. Bruh. The next day I went ahead and got some sand because I wanted to build a window so I could see the zombies. Now I can already see them, but I do want something in between us just in case one of them learns how to high jump. Hear that, boys? That's the sound of victory. Ready for this? It's gonna be nuts. And then I just got some wood before I was going to break the biggest rule in Minecraft. You can see the ladders in my inventory. You probably know what's about to happen. So everybody hold on to your seats and don't freak out because it's going to be okay. And if you don't think it's going to be okay, just don't worry. It's okay. I have plot armor. Man, I just posted this video. So I dug down to the best level for diamonds because I wanted to get that diamond armor as quickly as possible. Yeah, I still don't know what that was, and I'm still terrified, yeah. So I was strip mining for a while before I found this cave, and by cave I mean cavern because this thing was huge. I think caverns are bigger than caves. I don't know if caverns are bigger than caves. Somebody please tell me if that's true in the comments. I don't want to spread misinformation, but I'm too lazy to look it up, so please tell me. That's right, baby. I got my first taste of that blue gold in this cave. Unfortunately, there was only one diamond, and my inventory was full, so I had to empty it. But it's a start. So this cave was full of two things, and that's ore and mobs. There were mobs everywhere, mobs fighting other mobs, mobs fighting me, and there was ore everywhere too. So this was the place I wanted to be and the place I didn't want to be, pretty much at the same exact time. Look at this epic battle. Look at that. That looks like a scene out of freaking Star Wars or something. Alright, so after I instigated the zombie into fighting his friend, it got pretty wild over here, but I still had to finish off the skeleton after he was finished, and he did manage to get a hit in. It was not the greatest fight of all time, but it was pretty fun to watch. And then after that, I realized this cave was probably twice as big as I thought it was originally, and I found my second diamond. So I was starting to get a little outraged at the fact that I was only finding small pots of diamonds, and I heard a skeleton nearby that I thought I could take my anger out on. So I just went ahead and did that, and then afterwards explored a little more of the cave. So I wasn't having much luck in the cave finding diamonds. I only found those 3. So I just went ahead and came back to my ladder here in the little station I had at the bottom, just to smelt some ores and pretty much get ready to go strip mining, because I think that I might have a little more success doing that. Alright guys, so here it is, my first ever diamond mining montage. I hope you enjoy. Alright guys, so now I have 24 diamonds, and you know what that means. I'm going to go ahead and make a full suit of armor. Now if this were survival, I might hold back on doing that so soon, but this is hardcore, alright? So there's nothing to hold back here. I don't want to die and leave any diamonds behind. This armor is going to be essential for keeping me alive, because in this version you really only live once. I didn't know what to use this gold on, so I just smelted all of it and turned it into golden apples, because I thought that would be a good idea to save for when I get my weakness potions, and then I can lower the prices of my villagers, you know, their products or whatever. I can lower their prices so that I can pretty much break the economy of my village. Every time I see a skeleton now, I think about that one skeleton in the cave, so I do get a little bit aggressive, and I would like to apologize for that. But it is okay, because I will get my revenge one of these days. here is the first little time lapse of me sitting here and watching the zombies fall. After this is over, I am going to go kill all of them. We're going to sit here for about 15 minutes and see how this does. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. Now, I'm not getting the experience right now because I want to wait until the end. Look at that. That's pretty darn good. Then it was chopping time because I wanted to build a pen, an enclosure for some animals, specifically cows, because I need them to get leather, and I need leather to get books, and I need books for an enchantment table and for other books. So I'm going to be doing this for a little while, just retrieving animals, trying to get them to come back into my enclosure unwillingly, but it's all for a good cause in the end, so that I can get good enchantments and just be very happy with that. So apparently there's literally no cows in my biome, so I'm going across the sea to find other cows. And as I am boating across the sea, I notice there is a mushroom biome right next to my house. This is very neat. And needless to say, I kidnapped some of these guys because, I mean, who wouldn't? Come on, look at them. So I didn't feel like holding wheat the entire way home to get multiple cows, so I just got this one cow, but I noticed that in the rain, me and this cow look pretty freaking sick, man. So now that I had kidnapped him forever, my insatiable lust for more creatures was not satisfied. I needed to go back to that island, not just one time, but many times. I got some bowls because I wanted some mushroom soup. I mean, who doesn't like mushroom soup? These guys are probably my favorite animals in this entire game. But first I wanted diamond tools, so I went and got a few more diamonds from my strip mine and turned them into diamond tools. I was so preoccupied getting armor, I didn't get tools. I came up from the mine, looked at the cows, and immediately knew what I had to do. I couldn't just boat these guys back over to my homeland one by one. No, that would take too long. Instead, I kidnapped them all. Look at them. They are my children. So I was starting to like the cows more than my villagers, but I was noticing that my villagers were going missing. I couldn't find them. So I decided to trap the remaining villagers left in their houses, and I trapped this guy in my house so that I could turn him into a librarian and try for mending. But I have no idea where the other villagers have gone. They seem to have vanished. They disappeared. There were so many at one point, and now they're all gone. I don't know what happened. Maybe they sailed away on their villager boat. So I knew there was one other villager left in the village. There was an adult villager, and he was a farmer, and I don't need a farmer, so I forced him to go into his house so that I could trap him just like I trapped the other guy, and turn him into something more useful, like a Fletcher, so I can sell him sticks for money. No, this is not robbery, this is stonks. As he gazed up at me in anguish, I started to realize that he wasn't just going to change jobs all by himself, unfortunately. So I went around the village and destroyed all of the other job blocks just to ensure that he had one occupation. After this, I saw an Enderman in the village and I was terrified, so I built a little UFO around this tree to be my protection. If he comes near me, I can hit him without him hitting me. Ah, look at that. He's come around. The villager has now turned into a Fletcher, but I can't let him die, so I must kill this Enderman. And look at that. The villager boat has now turned into a fox boat. I don't know what it is with mobs and being obsessed with those boats, but they surely are. After that, I did stonks on this villager and made quite a bit of money that I would need for a mending book in the future. Then I went ahead and bred my glorious cow population, and then I went mining for some obsidian. I would need this obsidian to make a nether portal, and I would need that nether portal to make weakness potions. And these potions are going to be good so that I can torture my villagers for discounts. After I had all the obsidian I would need, I went home, went to sleep, and started thinking about a design for my nether portal. After about 45 minutes of work, the design was looking pretty good, and I know 45 minutes sounds like a lot, but time flies when you're having fun, and this nether portal was really starting to come together. After that, I went back to the Fletcher, and he was basically throwing himself at me when he saw my stick in my hand, so I went ahead and sold them to him in order to make some money. After that, it was time for more obsidian because I seemed to have miscalculated the amount I would need for my portal. Then I was going to add just a few finishing touches to my portal in order to make it look a little bit more professional. How's that for an amateur builder? Then I farmed some trees, I farmed some zombies, and after I was done with all of that, I thought I would go back to the stick salesman and sell the sticks that I had created from the logs that I was mining earlier. And so I went back to the house where the Fletcher was in order to sell my sticks to him, but unfortunately I heard some unsettling noises coming from inside. I checked it out and I noticed that he had turned into a zombie while I was gone. This is very unfortunate. He is one of only 2 adult villagers in this entire village anymore, so if he dies like he's doing right now, then there's no more baby villagers. Luckily, I had some logs and a bucket of water and a big brain on my shoulders in order to prevent me from letting this dude die. Now this is really bad. I do not know how it could possibly get any worse. Well, the forest is on fire, so I think it just got worse. So now I had a mission. My villager was in dire condition, and without him, there's no village, because without him I can't make more villagers, and my other villager is not going to make them all by themselves, right? So I needed to get a potion of weakness, and for those of you who don't know, to brew any potions, you need blaze powder, and to get blaze powder, you need blaze rods, and to get blaze rods, you need to kill blazes. So that's what I need to do. Now, I don't think I'm going to get blazes on this run to the nether. In fact, I don't think I'm going to do much. I'm pretty much just going to light up the area, get my bearings, and get an idea of what to do next. So after I mined through netherrack for what seemed like forever, I found the skeleton to whom I gave no mercy, and then after that I observed the soul sand biome. It was quite vast. After I'd eaten an unhealthy amount of berries, I decided to go back home, but in order to do that, I had to get past these guys. This guy saw me, got angry, and almost alerted his friends to my presence. That would have been bad. But it's okay, because I crowded him, got him into a corner, and then defeated him, all by his lonesome. Then it was time to go home, but not before a quick send-off from this piglin outside. The next day, it rained. And I hate when it rains in this game because I actually go outside in this game. But after that, I thought about how I still need to be productive, even though it's raining. So I made some boots for the nether. I fed my horde of cows, and then I went ahead and built an enchantment table so I could enchant things in the future. The next day I went to the nether. Another attempt to explore a little bit more in order to get just a step closer to saving my villager. I noticed there was a zombie piglin guarding the entrance to the nether, and I put on my sick new kicks in order to avoid being attacked by these other piglin. There was nothing really here that I wanted to do, and I didn't find anything that I needed, so I took my anger out on a skeleton and went home. So after a long day of accomplishing nothing in the nether, I went home to the librarian to see if I could get him to give me a mending deal. It took me a while, but I got him to work. So I finally got him to give me the mending deal. The only problem is I forgot the book. And so, I got the book. Then I made the mending book, which I could put on my pickaxe. That will be very nice. After that, I started laying the groundwork for my new house. I had no idea what I was going to build, but probably something geometric and a little ugly. But it'll have utility and it'll be cool. The next day, for some reason, I decided to go back to the Nether. I'm really putting my ADHD on full display here. I looked around for a long time and dug a huge strip mine, trying to find a Nether fortress. This was not what I was looking for. Cool, scary, but not what I was looking for. And so I just decided to go home. The next day I finally learned how to concentrate on one task and decided to see if I could find another fortress again. I mined and I mined for a long time, and then eventually got to a very scary place. And I found what I was looking for. And so I built a bridge over to the Nether fortress so that I could look for some things that I needed. I needed blaze rods and I needed nether wart. Let's see if I can find either of those things in this fortress. Well, that's not good. I hit a piglin, so that means I need to run the other direction, and that means straight into the Nether fortress. That's alright, because that's what I was planning on doing anyways. And look, exactly what I needed. Blaze rods. If I can kill them, that is. You gotta be quick. When I got home, I was ecstatic about the fact that I had gotten blaze rods, but I forgot one important ingredient, nether wart. So, it was back to the Nether fortress. I went back and I looked around and I eventually found what I was looking for, some nether wart. I picked it all up and I thought I would plant it at home. Now I could finally make the potion. Guys, I think it's time to save my villager. Let me preface this by saying I haven't done this in a while. Now that my villagers are back, it's time to improve the village. And I'm finished. Look at that. Much nicer walkway with all of these things out of the way. And it's just a lot smoother. I got to thinking about how the villagers ended up dying in the villager boat somehow, and I didn't want that to happen to these foxes, so I just put them in the ground. But don't worry, I made an enclosure. I'm not a monster. After that, I went around and improved some of the houses because I thought they looked weird, but by improved I mean added a few walls. I didn't really do much, but it was enough in order for me to be satisfied. Finally, I put a lamppost in front of the nether portal because I thought it would look cool, and then after that I decided to start working on a bigger project, my house. I'm not a very good builder, so please don't cringe at my design. I know it is cringeworthy, but it's as good as it'll get coming from me, at least right now with this skill level that I have accumulated. So I went ahead, built the flooring, I did the ceilings, I did a whole first floor of this little weird castle thing that I'm going to build, and I was pretty satisfied with what I got. Oh yeah, and I installed these cool little shutter things that I like to do in a lot of my houses, where you just put trapdoors and then you can use this to hit enemies through the gaps and they can't hit you back. I also built a little drawbridge that I would use to attack enemies from, get some high ground and then just shoot down at them with a bow and arrow or something, and it looks pretty nice so far, don't you think? But I knew that it wasn't complete because in order to protect my village properly, I need a wall, which means I'm going to build a wall all the way to the other end of the island, which I will skip for you because it is not fun to watch. Now all that's left to do is to light up the entire area behind the wall, kill any remaining mobs, and then my village is completely safe. After that, I finished up the storage room, I checked out the view from my drawbridge, and then I decided that I would probably go mining tomorrow because I am running low on ore. The next day had come, so it was time to go mining. I went ahead and went all the way to the bottom of my mine. I found a cave and pretty quickly found diamonds. Then it was time to explore the rest of the cave, so I went up to the surface, killed another skeleton in my rage, and realized how beautiful the cave was. It's just as beautiful as it is large, it seems. This creeper thought I was sweet, but I am not. And after that, I went ahead and explored a little bit more of the deeper parts of the caves in order to look for ore. I was having minimal luck, so I decided after a little while I would go right back home. The next day I realized I wanted a bow. And to get a bow you need arrows. And to have arrows you need feathers. And to have feathers you need chickens. After that I harvested my sugarcane and did some pretty unspeakable things to my animals. It's okay though because they forgot immediately after I pulled out the wheat. Then I went ahead and cooked up my livestock and shot some enemies from this drawbridge because it was pretty cool. What a shot. After that I went ahead and made an anvil and some bookshelves because I needed an enchanting room. But before that I had plans to make something else, something that you guys will see coming soon. So for this project, I'm going to need a lot of blocks. So I went ahead, down into my mine, and grabbed all of the blocks that I had accumulated through strip mining. That night I used my little peepholes for the first time and had some fun killing unsuspecting zombies. The next day I went and mined some coal and some iron because I needed it for tools. After that I got ready, went down into the nether, and began my project. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen, we are making a blaze farm. Now this project was pretty tough because obviously the blazes are very annoying. Even when you use torches they still spawn, and they spawn quite rapidly. They're constantly bothering you, pestering you, making you pretty much unable to do what you need to do. It's very annoying, they're super loud. So I went ahead, did something that I recommend anybody does if they're building a blaze farm. I got some splash potions of fire resistance. Then after that I enchanted my pickaxe and named it Earth Eater because I thought it was cool, and well, it eats earth. The difference between using these splash potions and not using them was like night and day. So much easier to work on this with the splash potions than without them. If I hadn't used these, I'm pretty sure that this project would have taken much longer. So after I had finished using all of my potions, I went home to make a few more so I could finish up the farm. Doing any work on the farm without these potions was pretty much completely out of my thought processing. There's no reason to do it, and it's extremely annoying, so making these potions was just a quick thing that adds a huge convenience for the rest of the project. So now that I had finished up my farm, I built a back room to use for what I had planned to use all along, but didn't tell you. An enchantment room. I'm going to connect this to my blaze farm so that I can sit here, farm blazes, and then enchant all of my gear for long periods of time. Now I spent a lot of time here for the rest of the 100 days, and let me just tell you, there is no noise that can be anywhere near as annoying as the blaze noise. There's no noise. Then I went ahead and enchanted some of my gear. I got pretty solid enchantments on some of this. I'm going to re-enchant most of it, unenchant a lot of it, re-enchant it, unenchant it. You know the cycle. It takes a long time to get the right enchantments, especially when you only get one enchantment, but as you saw there, I got a pretty solid enchantment on my sword. And then I went ahead and named it after a popular anime called Sword Art Online. If you've seen it, you probably understand the reference. If you haven't, you don't. That's how things work, but I don't know, I couldn't think of anything. Not even 10 minutes later, I renamed it Soul Eater after a different anime because I thought it paired well with my pickaxe. And then it was back to enchanting. I did a lot of enchanting on my armor, I enchanted some books, I just did a lot of enchanting in general. I wanted to get my gear to be as good as humanly possible before doing any kind of boss fight. Lastly, I turned my sword into an absolute weapon of mass destruction, left the area that I had been in for probably 2-3 hours by now, went home, fed the cows, and then went straight to mining. This skeleton absolutely sniped me out of nowhere before this witch decided to try her luck attacking me. Needless to say, that did not go well. Testing my sword out in these mines was a whole lot of fun. Some of the clips I got here, some of the things I did to these mobs, I can't even explain it. You're just gonna have to see.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Finally, I decided to mine. And then I went straight back to killing things. So I found this mob spawner deep in the cave and found some horse armor and some other useful things. Then afterwards I left, found some diamonds on the way back up, and I generally just had a pretty good experience down in the mines. It was getting late, but the grind never stopped, so I went ahead and woke up my villager in order to do more trades. He was more than happy to do trades with me, which seemed a little unrealistic, but this guy really likes his sticks. Then I realized that my foxes wanted to be let out, so I wasn't going to be a monster. But those ones still need rehabilitation, so I'm going to leave them there. Then I finally decided on a name for my sword and shield, and I named them the Immovable Object and the Unstoppable Force. Then I enchanted my bow, a few more books, and went home to work on my next project, which was going to be breeding the 2 villagers I had preserved. And so I bought a few books from my librarian and renamed my pickaxe to something cooler before taking him on a ride. Okay, so I'm gonna leave him in the boat while I go ahead and prepare their home? More of an enclosure. After I finished, I made as many beds as I could and realized I need a lot more wool if I'm going to make a lot of villagers. Unfortunately, I wasn't having much luck. I looked in several different biomes, I looked across the seas, I looked everywhere for a single sheep, and I could hardly find any. I got home and my librarian was giving me a weird look, so I decided to trap him in the enclosure to ensure he wouldn't escape. Then I threw some bread at them and told them to make baby. Make baby. Make baby. And then I pretty much stalked these guys until they did what I wanted them to. Bruh. Oh no, you're not leaving until you make baby. So they finally made a baby and I was pretty excited about it. But I have abandonment issues, so I just went ahead and built a big box around his bed so he wouldn't escape. Now I wasn't satisfied with just 3 villagers, so I needed more sheep, and there were none on my island, so I had to go find another one. And it couldn't be the mushroom biome. I boated for a while until I came upon an island. This island eventually became basically paradise to me. It had anything I ever wanted. Alright, so that was fun. Now it was time to go back home. I need to use this wool that I've gathered in order to create more beds, because the more beds I have, the more villagers I have. And, spoiler alert, this gets a little out of hand. And so, I had many villagers now, and they're gonna need places to stay. So I went ahead and made an upstairs in my little prison cell. And after that I thought about making more. Okay, so I lost a little bit of footage at this point, maybe an hour or so, of me just running around in the nether pretty much, and nothing too interesting, but what I'm doing right now is looking for ender pearls so I can get to the stronghold. Then I finished up in the nether and I went ahead and went back home. Check out my valuables chest now. Mornings like these make me really appreciate how beautiful Minecraft can really be. Wait, what? Alright, so I forgot to install an iron door and this guy got out, but now he's in boat prison, so... Also, side note, look at how beautiful my village is. Yeah, I protect them from the demons on the outside. Had an epic battle with this spider on my drawbridge. Check me out, man. Now all I need are phantoms. What are you doing, man? Go home. Go to sleep. They're like children. Nice little cinematic shot of the main road of our village. Then I waited in this corner for quite a while. I needed a few days to go by in order for phantoms to come. And for those of you who don't know, you need to be awake for, I think it's 3 days before a phantom will come. Someone correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So at night, I sat in my little peepholes and protected my village. I destroyed the army of zombies that was outside single-handedly and while taking 0 damage in the process. At this point, the village is starting to feel a lot more alive, a lot more home, you know? The houses have been decorated more, the roads are clean, there's villagers all out and about, and they're all totally safe because they have me, their guardian angel. After a while, I made this weird turret thing while I was waiting for days to go by so that phantoms could come. I saw this online somewhere. It didn't really work out very well, but it was cool while it lasted. I moved away to get a better view of it and realized it was literally burning my house down, so I'm gonna need to fix this. And so I fixed it. Or semi-fixed it. But look, it'll shoot at enemies. Not very well, but it will. And then, when the spiders and enemies go under them because they're attacking, I can kill them through the peephole. Very efficient system. Another clip of these creepers getting absolutely dogged by my snowmen. Then I heard the sound. Some of you might be wondering why these phantoms were so essential. Well, that's because with their phantom membrane, you can make potions called slow-falling potions. And these potions will help quite a bit during the Ender Dragon fight because he likes to knock you up very high into the air in order to attempt to kill you. The next day I worked on getting some flint for some arrows, and I killed these pillager guys that were outside my fortress because nobody comes near my villagers without my permission. Then I planted and bone mealed a ton of carrots so I could make golden carrots. These are very good and very efficient way of healing yourself when you're in a big fight. And next I needed chickens, so you know what that means. Back to Paradise Island. And then it was time to do some horrible things to my cow population once again. I needed their cooked beef in order to ensure that I would not die. And now it was finally time to look for the Ender Dragon. Seems to be outside of my village. After traveling through many biomes in an attempt to find the stronghold, I took a rest in this village. Finally, after about 30 minutes of searching and a very long distance traveled, I found the stronghold. I explored the stronghold a bit, but mainly I just wanted to find the portal, because I was running out of days and I needed to defeat the Ender Dragon. Luckily, it wasn't very hard to find the portal, and I had more than enough eyes to fill all of these slots, so it was time. One last check to make sure I'm ready. Now enjoy our epic showdown. And we did it! This is my first ever time beating the Ender Dragon on hardcore. And look at that XP. And we're gonna get the egg. This is my first time getting the egg. Guys, am I official now? Tell me if I'm official. Because I have the frickin' egg. And now I'm looking for an end city on hardcore. This is crazy. Alright, well, we found an end city, and luckily this one has a boat. Literally the first one I ever found has a boat. This is great. This is totally scripted. Actually, it's not scripted, don't worry. Oh god. So I'm climbing the steps to glory. I gotta get in this before they hit me. Hopefully there's a chest at the top with the famous elytra. Now it may look chaotic, but I had everything under control, and now I'm looting the chest, getting ready to explore the rest of this end city, and totally not pulling a noob move by mining this without a silk touch pickaxe. Alright, so now I've gotten up to the boat. This should be where the elytra is, and subsequently all of my dreams. So now I've looted the end city, and I'm completely ready to go home. Now, keep in mind, I'm not used to using this elytra thing yet. So, right now I'm kind of just risking it for the biscuit. Alright guys, I would like to take this as an opportunity to thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to thank my villagers as well for helping me along the way, and they are congratulating me on my victory. It has been a long road. Hello everybody. I have been victorious. Look at that. They care so much. This is amazing. Yeah, look, they're jumping with me. Look. Look. Alright, but seriously, thank you guys so much for watching this video. It took a really long time to make, but don't click away just yet. I got one more thing prepared for you all, and that is a little celebration of our 100-day victory. Now it's going to take a little while for me to do this, so it might run over 100 days, but you will see in the end that it was worth it. It's not going to be anything too crazy because I'm not very adept with redstone or pretty much anything else, to be honest, in this game, but I'm getting there slowly but surely, and hopefully you guys will be there with me on this journey. I hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and enjoy. So this is me figuring out how to use the elytra for the first time, and let me just tell you, I instantly freaking fell in love with this thing, man. It is such an amazing feeling. Look at that. This is crazy. It's a crazy amount of freedom. It feels different in survival too, because in survival you can just respawn, you can die whenever you want, you can do a lot of things, but in hardcore you walk everywhere, so when you can fly, man, it's nice. Okay guys, so it's finally prepared. Took a little while to put it all together, but I really hope you guys enjoy this little show. There's a big 100 in the background, you can see for 100 days, all of the zombies are here for the show. Check it out. It's not much, but it's pretty cool, right? Thank you guys so much for watching. It really means a lot. Have a great rest of your day.